every contraction, this is what the uterus is trying to do, baby now. And yeah, is in front. The face is actually facing your back. This is the right position. Baby's like this, but kasi the face is not over. It is a skull, right? A skeleton. But here, nag-overlap kasi yung skull niya sa likod. Kaya yung fontanelle dito, di ba yung mga babies malambot pa dito? Tapos pati dito, dalawa yun eh. Yes, it actually has not yet fused. The skull is not yet fused. God purposely did it that way so that the skull actually overlaps. So that when the mother is pushing, the baby is also pushing down, the uterus is pushing the uterus down, the mother is exerting effort when she's pulling, and at the same time the skull is actually overlapping. And then yung pelvis mo is actually expanding. So one of the things that I don't know if you've noticed is when you're able to move around, you were dropping a lot of things, you're clumsy, like you're not too coordinated. It's because you're joined. Kasi you could have, but you didn't because you wanted to help the mother so that in time, pwede siyang mag-expand. So this is the uterus, right? So whether you will have vaginal now, the wonderful thing about this is, I don't know if you notice this is actually arch. It's actually curved like this. So actually, when the head of the baby comes here, it's going to tell him to go move there, out towards the vagina. So his movement is this way. It's really amazing. And you know what? God,
So nakaganito siya to say them.
correct, nakatak down yung chin niya because I just show you why. But as he starts to descend, he's going to aim for your back. And then he's going to hit your rectum at the back, which is going to cause you to ire. And that's why God put it at the back, to help you actually push. It's really amazing. I kind of figured it out because a lot of mothers go and you call that urge to push, and that's when the head is actually pushing against your rectum. It feels like it's poop, but it's not. It's his head. So a lot of women run to the bathroom thinking this is it, pero hindi. And so God put it there so that it will actually help you to push. It's really amazing. Everything is perfectly positioned. Kaya hindi ka pwedeng magsabi na walang God. Kasi parang, ano bula? Ganito lang? Di ba? Parang he really designed it. Now, it's really amazing. Now, this point here, the spines, which I talked about, is the smallest point that the baby would have to try to fit his head through. Is the smallest point. So, some babies, especially if the mother has gestational diabetes and the baby also acquired, let's say, diabetes, so now he's huge, his head is big. And if it's his head that he is presenting, sometimes hindi siya magkakasya because ang laki ng ulo, maliit yung opening, right? Or masking adequate yung opening, malaki lang siya. So this point here is his head must pass this point. If his head doesn't pass this point, what kind of birth is that, you think? CS na siya. Kasi hindi siya lumalabas, ayaw lumabas. And not because it's not adequate, but because he's big. But sometimes anatomically, there's a problem with us and it's hereditary. Sometimes yung opening dito maliit. O yung shape is heart shape. So itong bone in front is forward. Talagang hindi papasok yung head. So talagang lahat ng mga births noon CS. Pero yung baby mo kung ngayon yan, maliit, ang bilis niya idulas dito. Kasi maliit pa siya eh. Compared to a full term, it's easy to push kasi he's small, right? But this point here, you call this zero station. So yeah, it's just an imaginary parang line here from this point of the spine to the other, and that's your point of reference, that's zero. So if his head is right aligned to zero station, we call that engaged. So yung engagement na sinasabi ko, tinatanong ko sa iyo kung yung baby mo nag-drop na siya. Kasi as early as the 7th month, your baby will drop. And we call it engagement. It doesn't mean you're giving birth. He just decided, I want to drop.
I think he dropped na.
He may have already dropped. Pas ka na ba? Pas ka na 7. Yeah, you actually physically see it. And then not only that, you can actually breathe more. Yeah, you can eat more. That means he is already engaged. But the wonderful thing with engagement is, he will not go breach. Vaginal birth ka na yan. He can move around, but he won't get out of that, position. So, okay na siya. So, ito siya. Ito na siya yung engaged. So, ito, makikita mo ang taas. So, you have a lot of room. Here, you have a lot of room down below. So dito tight, you cannot breathe. You cannot.
Yeah.
Pagbaba niya dito, ang tight dito.
Oo.
Right? Kasi nandito na yung ulo niya eh. Dito naman lumuwag.
Oo.
So at some point your baby will engage. So if he's already engaged, that his head is now at zero station.
Yeah, engaged na siya for sure.
So it's gonna go down from zero. You can measure it. The goal of the baby is to go to positive 4. So from 0, 1 centimeter away from 0 is positive 1, 2, 3, 4. So at head, it's gonna go like this, and this is your vagina. We see his head. It's right on the surface na. Anto na yung ulo niya. So that's 0 station. Ganito. Positive 4.
From the opening.
From the opening. Talagang nagtatouch na yung head niya.
Bumbunan.
Yes, nakikita mo na siya. And then, above 0 station, nagpa-float pa siya. So some babies that never go and engage, wala, ma-CCS yun. Kasi, nagle-labor na yung mom, tapos hindi pa bumababa yung head. There are several reasons why that can happen. It could be a cord problem, like the umbilical cord, can be a problem. Right? So we never
Meron
really
siyang
know.
cord around his neck.
Cord coil. Yeah. Very common. I think 2 of my birds, cord coil. My
Pero-
daughter, 3 kids,
Pero
cord
pwede
coil.
pang safe pa.
Yeah. Oh, sometimes it's just loose. And since there's always blood pumping there, so it's not usually it's gonna go around the neck tightly because there's blood pumping and that's the reason why you also have water there. Para he's able to move around. And since you're in here, his heartbeat is pretty normal. It's all, the heartbeat is 120 to 160 beats. So right now, you call 130, 31, in siya.
There's a monitor there.
Ito siya. Pero nawala.
So-
Yung transducer
nag-move
kasi-
yata siya. Pag nag-move, ayun, 128.
So how do you feel there?
Here, I feel that the baby is already engaged.
It's far down na. Kasi you have more room to breathe here.
Yeah.
And you have more room to eat. But it's tighter down below here.
Yeah, tighter than below. Minsan nga, nararamdaman ko kumakatok siya dun sa
Yeah, you can feel it.
at the bottom.
Correct. And a lot of women feel that, nangangalay underneath already. So it's always good to wear a girdle. I always tell them, or a maternity belt to lift it up somehow. Kind of helps.
Okay lang doing that.
So,
Tapos ito na, so nag-start na rin yung kanyang face.
yeah, for you, yung kanya nag-efface na siya.
So naninipis na.
Naninipis na siya. Ninipis muna siya, tapos bubukak. So effacement happens before dilation. But on your second baby, sabay na siya. Effacement and dilation is much faster. So this is actually the baby. This is how he looks like inside. So this is your placenta. And it's almost like a platito. And about an inch thick. This portion here looks like liver. It's kind of bloody. It's really like one whole mass of blood.
Parang burger na yung pictures.
Oo nga, mukha siyang burger.
Raw burger.
Correct. And then this one is actually the side of the baby. So if you notice, my filter shell, right? And there are 2 layers actually. So the first layer is the amnion here. We don't know why there are 2. I thought there's only 1, but there are 2 layers, the amnion and the chorion, and we do not know why it breaks. It just breaks, right? So one end of the umbilical cord is attached here, and the other one is attached to his belly button like this. So it's actually positioned this way, here inside. And this one actually rests kadalasan on top. It's attached to your uterus on top. Right? It's not so much. And then and the length of this is about 20 inches long, almost as long as a baby, the umbilical cord. And he's about 20 inches long, 20, 19, 18. And so there's a lot of blood pumping here, back and forth, right? So his position is usually downwards, right? And his head, like what I told you, feel this one. There. Can you feel that? That's an opening. It's yeah. And there's another one here. Look at the shape. This is triangular, and this is diamond shape. Diba? Magkaiba. And it has not yet fused. It will fuse siguro after the baby's born for another year. Tsaka lang itong magsisira. It's really fantastic how the Lord purposely made this not fuse yet because it's actually divided into 4 parts. And as the baby starts to descend, his head will actually overlap. And then if you push long, really long, you see his head elongated like this. It's kind of scary look. Kasi parang, kasi he looks like a Martian, right? Ang haba ng ulo. So, but eventually, after how many days, you'll notice, mag-align yung bone, babalik siya, tapos bibilog rin siya. So, and it's really amazing how the Lord just thought about this too. And the reason why, para mapadali yung mom, mag-push, di ba? Kaya nag-overlap ito. It's really amazing. And then the bone that I talked to you about, ito, kaya siya connected dito, tapos yung hips connected dito sa likod. Kasi when it's time to give birth, this actually expands this way. And then the skull overlaps. So when the baby comes down, it's easier for the mom. Plus, you're pushing. Right? So it's really, really galing. Ganyan siya. So the baby inside gets to swallow his amniotic fluid. You have about a liter of amniotic fluid inside. That's about 4 glasses. And it always gets replenished every 4 hours. So parang may dialysis ka sa loob. No? And then he's able to swallow and to suck his thumb and to move around. So he pees inside. But there's something that he doesn't do inside. He shouldn't do. He shouldn't poop, right? So when the bag breaks at some point, right, and it usually breaks towards the end, just before you push in transition, because we need the bag of water to buffer him. And that's why God, by nature, did not really make it to break too early. Although there are some mothers na talagang yung bag nag-break early, pero usually it breaks towards the end during transition, just before you push. Because you need that bag of water to cushion his head. Kasi if you had a bag of water, right, and he's trying to push down, this is the direction he's going. So this is your cervix, right? So where the baby door, he's supposed to come out. If the bag is still intact, his head is like this, because there's a whole bag of water there, and it acts as parang it's pressurized. But the minute it breaks, his head is actually directly on your cervix, like this. So for you, it would be more comfortable to actually labor with the bag intact, right? Because then it's buffing his head. His head is not directly against your cervix. So by nature, God will make it break towards the end to speed up your labor. It's really amazing. And by then, his head will be directly on your cervix, and your contractions will be very wild, will be very strong. Kasi malapit ka na lumabas eh. Malapit na siyang lumabas eh. So malakas na siya. So by nature, dun siya nagbe-break. And the bag of water is also important because it actually it regulates the temperature inside. So he's warm inside. He's warm and cozy. Plus, di ba yung umbilical cord, nagpa-pump ng blood? You're not actually allowed to walk when the bag breaks kasi the umbilical cord might go under the head. Tapos pag may contraction, maiipit siya kasi pababa yung ulo, right? So magdi-distress siya. Kaya we're not allowed to walk the minute the bag breaks. Pero kung hindi pa siya nagbe-break, lakad, if the doctor allows you to walk, pag sinabi niya, sige, go, safe ka na, mag-walk, right? Pwede na, then you can actually walk na. And kasi, ano na siya, down na siya. Basta hindi pa nagbe-break, you can walk. Pero the minute it breaks, bawal na mag-walk kasi baka
Kasi complete rest ako.
kaya nga, nag-preterm ka na kasi. And sometimes preterm labor is caused by infection. So, I'm sure the doctor by now would have ruled it out. She got a specimen of your urine to check kung meron kang UTI.
No, she didn't ask that.
Talaga?
We had blood
Normally.
test.
Yeah, normally kasi nag-aano sila. Sine-check nila, rule out nila yung infection. Kadalasan the mothers that I've interviewed kung ba't na ng early, even in the books, it's because may kind of an infection. Yeah, UTI. So this is amazing, really grabe. So now I want to kind of show you how the baby comes down the birth canal. So if you notice his head, where is it widest? Front to back or side to side? Someone napapansin.
Front to back.
Here, right? Wider, right? And take a look at this one. On top here, it's actually widest from side to side or front to back?
Front to back.
No,
No.
it's actually from
Wide.
side to side. Side to side siya. But under, it's front to back. But on here on top, it's from side to side. And there's a reason for that. So logically, because his head is widest from front to back, it's going to go like this, correct? To fit inside, right? So, yes, so normally he will position this way. So this is called transverse. So our point of reference is the back of his head. So So if the back is on your right, this would be transverse. So right occiput is just this part, right occiput transverse. So if it's like this would be your more to your right. Occiput means head down, and anterior. So this is transverse, anterior, and posterior is like this. So we don't like a posterior baby because then he's going to be showing his face and his face doesn't overlap. Sometimes if he's too big, he might end up having a C-section. But for preemies, it's quite easy to deliver them even if they're sunny side up. We call this sunny side up, by the way, yeah. Because his head is the one facing the front, it should actually be the back portion of his head. Because this has the smallest dimension. Because when he starts to tuck his chin down, this is the part he's presenting. So this part is called the vertex. So ito yung pinakamaliit na dimension niya. Kaya i-present. Paglabas niya ganyan, right? And then if he presents this part, it's called military. I guess when you kind of salute like this, diba? Kasi then this is the one he's presenting. If it's sunny side up, dalawa. Either the brow is the one that's being presented or the whole face is talaga nakaganyan. And yun na nag-represent. And ito hindi nag-overlap, kaya pwedeng ma-CS. So if your baby's position is this way, he's already a good position. But when it starts to drop, you will notice the contractions will actually cause him into the bone. As he passes the smallest point, because now underneath it's widest from front to back. So engagement yan, di ba? Station. Iikot ngayon siyang ganyan. It's called internal rotation. Right? So nakapag-ikot na siya. Nakapag-internal rotation na siya. Pag na-kompleto na niya yung internal rotation, ang next na gagawin niya is extension. So on the next contraction, nakatak. Ganyan. Buti.
I don't know if I'm contracting or if I need to pee.
Sige, let's find out.
You want me to call?
May konti kang contraction.
Meron nga eh.
58. 55. Wala na siya. 49. Ayun siya, RBC. See that number?
Yeah, I see.
762. Ito yung heartbeat sa 130, 25. Yan.
May
Pero
contractions
ito,
ako.
66.
Mas nakita nga namin. Pero tinaas ko na ito ng 75.
Ako, hindi ko alam kung ang nararamdaman ko kailangan ko mag-pee or dahil meron akong contraction.
You wanna try?
Pero mayroon talagang contraction.
But siguro once it's done,
Should try to
I'll say to
Tawag ka naman.
Ayun pa, wala na yung contraction. Ito'y pa ba? 35,
Mag-pee muna tayo.
34. Labas mo na.
Okay.
Yan.
Okay, awesome.
Ganyan.